Welcome to another episode of the Nintendo Powercast, Nintendo News Daily. I'm your host, N64 Josh. Been a little bit. It has been a little bit, but we are back and we are ready to talk some Nintendo news. So let's jump into it. First thing we're looking at is from Nintendo Life, and the headline reads, "Let's make it. Nintendo and Koei Tecmo on the genesis of Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment." And so, taking a look at the article here, it says after The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, it seemed almost inevitable that we'd see a new Hyrule Warriors title. According to a new interview with 4Gamer, the folks over at Nintendo and Koei Tecmo thought the same thing. So it didn't take long for Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment to get the green light. Nintendo veteran Anuma seemed especially confident in Koei Tecmo's interest in the project, stating to Tears of the Kingdom director uh, Hiromaro Fujibayashi that they shouldn't make the first move and instead wait for Koei Tecmo to reach out. As expected, it did. It did so almost immediately after Tears of the Kingdom's release. And so there's some snippets from the interview here. Hayashi said, "We eagerly awaited the release of Tears of the Kingdom. I personally played the weekend immediately following its release, and I felt the game was sending us a message of something like, make a Warriors game set in the time of the imprisoning war. After the weekend, I spoke to uh, Mashita saying, let's make it, and we drew up a plan." Uh, They go on to say, "In truth, I also actually been putting a plan together before he spoke to me, and I felt the seeds of a Warriors game were scattered all over the place." On the Nintendo side, this is from Anuma. During the Tears of the Kingdom development, Fujibayashi established in detail exactly what the imprisoning war was. And after it was finished, he said to me, maybe we could ask Koei Tecmo this time too. But I responded with no, let's wait to hear from them. And it was almost immediately after that that they contacted us. So love that. Really, really cool stuff there. I see Joey is here. What's going on? The Year of Super Mario Wonder 2 Switch 2 Edition meetup at Bell Park. Yeah, I can't wait for that one. Really, really looking forward to it. Welcome everybody. That's just jumping in. It's our first show of the new year. Good to see you all. So pretty cool to see some of the backstory of Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment. I'm still working my way through it. I'm I love the story aspects of it. I it just it does get a bit repetitive for me doing the just doing the levels over and over again. Like I enjoy them. Like I do like it, but I have to just ease into it. It's not something that I'm like, "Oh, I can sit and play for, like, hours at a time." I did that, and I feel like it kinda burned me out a little bit, so I see M is here. Happy New Year, good to see you. Welcome on in. So, uh, but I'm guessing I'm, like, 3/4 to 2/3 of the way done with the game. Story is fantastic. I love playing with the the character that's supposed to be Link or Link-esque. I think he's fantastic. So, lot of fun to be had there, but if you're like me, take it in bite-sized chunks, otherwise it will burn you out. Metroid Prime 4 in the charts. UK charts here. Just clings to the top of 40. So, taking a look at the UK charts, you've got EA Sports FC 26 at number 1, and then Mario Kart World at number 2. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe sitting at number 7. Pokemon Legends ZA sitting at 6. Got Call of Duty at number 3. Claire Obscura at 4. Battlefield 6 at 5. Now, a lot of these games have had sales recently, which is, that does help move them up these charts. Minecraft down to number 10. It was at 6. Grand Theft Auto 5 still on the list here. Grand Theft Auto 5 and Mario Kart 8 Deluxe are like the anomalies here in my opinion. It's kinda crazy. Mortal Kombat 11 sitting at number 8. Um, I'll just go over a few of the Nintendo games here. Nintendo Switch Sports, number 12. That's gonna be part of our main topic today. We're gonna be talking about with the 20th anniversary of the Wii, what does what does that mean for what how will Nintendo celebrate that? And Nintendo Switch Sports, it it's one of those games that like I didn't feel like it was like super strong right off the rip that there wasn't a lot of love for it, like it was missing a few components here and there, but it's still in like it's still in top. It was number 9 last week and number 12 this week. So it's very interesting to see. And you got to remember, being tied to Wii Sports, a lot of love there, a lot of love. So Donkey Kong Bonanza at number 13, Split Fiction at 14, with the majority of those being on PlayStation 5, but 27% of them being on Switch 2. Mario Party Jamboree at number 15, New Horizons, Animal Crossing New Horizons at 17. But scrolling way down, all the way to number 40 is Tekken 8, and number 39 is Metroid Prime 4 Beyond. Joey says, "The Wii's 20th anniversary, I just heard my back crack." Yes. Yeah, crazy stuff, honestly. It when I think of, like, 20-year-old console, I think GameCube, 64? No. We're well beyond that, which is just crazy to think. Just crazy to think. So, Metroid, I'm very curious how the overall sales are. I'm I'm hopeful that it becomes the top-selling Metroid game. I really, really hope so. I want more of it. I loved it. I thought it was fantastic. Like, really, really good stuff. So fingers crossed we get to see more. Moving on here, Grid Legends Deluxe Edition Switch 2 graphics and performance mode detailed. They put out a for this. Here's some of the confirmed info here. Grid Legends will have both and performance presets for docked and handheld gameplay, where you can expect 30 FPS and up to 60 FPS, as well as dedicated balance and battery saver presets exclusively for handheld. So you can choose your preferred mix of frame rate and fidelity. As for graphical effort, Switch 2 will retain all of the fireworks, tire smoke, sparks, and backfire you've come to expect from mobile and other console versions. Moving on down here, there's a little blurb from just in the article. It says the team also mentioned how the release will support Nintendo Switch Online variant of the GameCube controller. Yes, Grid Legends will support the NSO variant of the GameCube controller, offering analog trigger support for acceleration and brake. That's all been tested and verified here. So that's very interesting. It's very interesting because there are certain racing games that really rely on analog triggers. And it looks like the only option for the Switch 2 is the GameCube variant, which makes me then wonder once Xbox is going, full on into getting games onto the Switch or Switch 2, I should say, what will happen with games like Forza? I don't think Forza works on a digital trigger. I don't unless they do something strange where you hold the trigger down and then you move the stick forward or back to kinda give it the acceleration you want, but in my opinion, it's not a viable option at all. There was a Trials, I believe, and maybe Trials of the Blood Dragon, I can't remember there was one of them that was on Switch 1, but the way they basically compensated for the lack of analog trigger was with the stick, and I honestly just not a big fan of that. So, m what I wonder is if either A, Microsoft releases some kind of Switch 2 controller that works well, or that, you know, somehow the licensing works out, Nintendo makes a cut, Microsoft makes their cut, whatever the case may be, and we essentially see an Xbox controller make its way onto the Switch, or like Steak is saying here, third-party controllers, right? And that's another option as well. Um, M says, "We know if there's no D-pad that you aren't interested. You gotta have a good D-pad. Always gotta have a good D-pad." So, Joey says, "Well, they'll just sell a Nintendo Switch 2 Pro controller to Xbox edition." And that could be, but you're also talking about, like, one like, a handful of games, right? Like, this Grid game or potentially, um, Forza Horizon. It's honestly my only gripe with the Switch 2 Pro controller is the lack of analog triggers. It's I play Fortnite on my Xbox or my PC all the time with my, Xbox, Elite controller, and it is it is such a, I use the stops all the time, so it has a short trigger throw similar to digital, but then if I wanna play Forza or anything like that, I just turn those off, and we're good to go. You know, so it's always seemed a bit strange to me that Nintendo has gone away from the analog trigger. I'm like, I know there's not a ton of games that need it, but those that do really do benefit from it. So I see Carpool Gaming is here. What is going on? Welcome on in. Neon Tiger, Sunshine is here. Welcome on in, everybody. Good to see you. We're just making our way through the news here. Dragon Quest 40th anniversary logo revealed. It says expect various announcements. Dragon questing since 1986. The year I started kindergarten. Just love that for me. Dragon Quest put out a tweet or a post on X saying, "Happy New Year, Dragon Questers. This year marks the 40th anniversary of Dragon Quest. Please look forward to various announcements in celebration of the anniversary. Thank you for your continued support." And so, like, I'm so interested in everything that Square is doing for any of their upcoming anniversaries. So interested, and so excited for this one. I Although I haven't spent a ton of time playing the Dragon Quest games, uh, I love the artwork. I love looking back on the NES games, and I love that they are doing these HD 2D remakes that we're seeing, what is it? Dragon Quest 7, I believe, is is getting the reimagined on, it's coming to Switch 2 later this year. I love the work they're doing, and I'm hoping this is the year that I get to put more time into it. So, fingers crossed that it'll happen because it's a series I'm very, very interested in, and, very excited to see what they end up doing with this 40th anniversary. Here's a PSA from Nintendo Life. It says, "Make sure you've enabled these opt-in settings if your Nintendo 2025 year in review when it eventually drops." So it's gonna be hitting in January, so keep that in mind. Um, but you wanna make sure that you, visit so you head to Nintendo's website, alright? Go to your Nintendo account, privacy and other settings, usage information page, click "Yes, allow Nintendo to collect optional device, data on Nintendo consoles that you use." Click "Yes" to allow Nintendo to process your usage information to customize services, offers, and recommendations, and then press the confirm button. If you don't have that turned on, it's looking like it's going to hinder your year in review. And honestly, it besides Spotify, the Nintendo year in review is always something that I really enjoy. They always tell you what your first game of 2025 was, your most played game, all that kind of stuff. So I uh I love it. So if you want to take part in that, make sure that you have those settings or those boxes clicked to allow Nintendo to collect optional device data and to process your usage information. Um, Steak makes a good point too. Pokemon debuted their 30th anniversary logo too. They did. They also have another collaboration with McDonald's happening, so you can get cards through through Happy Meals coming up here very soon. Well, this is one that I got excited for. I even picked over the Christmas break. Ar- Arcade Archive celebrates 500 retro releases with a special commemorative game. So I picked up Space Invaders because it is just a classic game. And I would say Space Invaders is even a bit before my time. I mean, it came out in the late 70s. I wasn't even born until the early 80s. And so but it was one that every time I played, I loved the idea of it. I love that you had your ship, you had your bases, you had the aliens that you had to try to take out before they took you out. And so I saw that the OG Space Invaders hit the eShop, and I was like, "Yo, I'm getting it. I gotta get this." So, uh, I yeah, I had to grab it. So I snagged it. Well, now they're releasing for their 500th game, the Arcade Archives, is Space Invaders Part 2. So, really, really cool. This is so Space Invaders Part 2 is a shooting game released by Taito in 1979. The enemy invaders have returned more powerful than ever, having acquired new tactics like uh, splitting and receiving reinforcements from UFOs. With added features like rainbow bonus to aim for high scores, this title is long beloved by skilled experts looking to hone their abilities. The Arcade Archive series has faithfully reproduced many classic arcade masterpieces. Players can change various game settings, such as game difficulty, and also reproduce the atmosphere of arcade display settings at that time. Players can also compete against each other all over the world with their high scores. Please enjoy the masterpieces that built a generation for video games. And I I love these all of these arcade archives games because as a kid, all I ever wanted was to be able to play arcade ROMs at home. Like, that was something that was important to me. I, like, just wanted to play what I basically considered the originals, right? Like, the NES and the Super Nintendo did a great job, like, Super Nintendo, especially with games like Street Fighter II, Final Fight, but even then, like Final Fight 1 on the SNES only had 1 player instead of 2, and it was like, "This is a beat 'em up. Why aren't we getting 2 player here? Like, what limitation?" You know? So, I love seeing this. I'm definitely gonna be picking up the, Space Invaders Part 2. Will I play it that much? Probably not, but the fact that it's their 500th game, uh, and the thing is for me, one of the reasons that I picked this up, when I go see my pops, he loves Space Invaders. He would play on Atari, he would play Space Invaders and football. That was his jam. So the moment I saw it, I was like, "Yo, I'm picking this up, so the next time we hang out, we can play some Space Invaders together." So, I wanna pick up on or catch up on a few chats real quick. Let's see. Cryptic is here. What's going on? Jack says, "Josh, how is Metroid Prime 4? I wanna pick it up, but it seems everyone is unhappy with it." Uh, it's fantastic. It is if you've played other Metroid Primes, it's it and you're used to that series, like, I loved it. You know, was it a perfect game? No, but I couldn't stop playing it till I completed it, you know, and I was very happy with the 17 hours I think it took me to beat it or whatever, and it felt like a Metroid game. I did not mind driving the bike around the desert. I completed Metroid Prime right after it, and I felt like Prime 4 was such a step in the right direction. So, as a longtime fan of the series, I would say don't sleep on it. Like, definitely pick it up. It's a great, um, Metroid experience, like, fantastic. So, uh, the conversation online, you've always gotta be careful because most of the time, the vocal minority is just that, the minority, and they negativity is what is, really what gets clicks, you know? So, I thought it was fantastic, really, really enjoyed it, and, I'm even considering playing it again, and th that's a rarity for me because, uh, I wanna make sure that I'm playing new stuff so that I can keep talking about it and whatnot, but I'm looking at the case right here, it looked at me this morning, and I was like, "Yo, maybe I should play through again, try to get all the scans and whatnot." So, Steak says, "Loving, Metroid Prime 4, also never played a Metroid, Prime game before." So there you go. There you go. Um, Taking a look, Boo Mini is here. Welcome on in. Boo Mini says, "I hope Nintendo brings all Zelda games to Switch. We need Phantom Hourglass, Spirit Tracks, A Link Between Worlds, etc." Yes. Yes, 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 yes. Uh, Suxer's here. What's going on? M says, "Can't be as mad as Madden with the unplayable reviews." It's true. It's true. Even yesterday, I got 2 comments on Madden videos. One said, "This game is still a stuttery mess, don't buy it," and someone else said, "I got it for Christmas and I love it." You can't win, you know? You can't win. So, um oh, interesting. Suxer99 says, "I felt the opposite of Metroid Prime 4, worth playing once, but I thought it was a step in the wrong direction, especially waiting this long to get it." Interesting. Interesting. Yeah, I mean, and everybody's opinion is gonna be different. So, uh, at the end of the day, Jack, there is a demo. You can check out the demo in the eShop to see what you think. If you feel like it's gonna be your kinda game, then you're not wasting any money, and, uh, and you can see if it's gonna be for you. But for me, I really, really enjoyed it, and, hope the sales do well enough and that the series can keep going. The rumor is that they've worked on there is a rumor out there that they worked on 5, while they were working on 4, possibly. But again, grain of salt with that, we just never know. So, Joey says, "I'm loving Animal Crossing and Metroid Prime 4, best purchases of December." Nate says, "I liked Prime 4 more than Prime 1, haven't played the others." So, yeah, I think when it just comes to, like, quality of life and stuff, Prime 4 really knocks it out of the park, and I don't feel like Prime 4, I feel like it takes your time into account a little bit better than Prime 1, especially the end of Prime 1 where you've gotta just start wandering around and finding, artifacts that you may have missed along the way. That can, that can be a bit of a time suck. Uh, Things that I wish Prime 4 had, I wish Samus had Sprint. That just seems like something that should be there, that's just modern and would also just help traversing the world a bit faster. So, but, again, nothing that was a deal breaker for me. I really, really enjoyed it. Joey says, "When do we want our first direct of 2026?" We have some ideas for games this year, but more of a layout would be nice. So, and Cryptic says the desert is still bad. Yeah, see, I didn't really mind it. I didn't really mind it, but I know a lot of people didn't love it. So, a lot of mixed reviews even in the chat, which I think is great. It gives plenty of different perspectives. But yeah, what are like the first direct? I'm assuming February. That's I think that's pretty typical for directs. So, probably February is when we will see a direct. So, um you're eager to play them all, Jack? You bet. Yeah, go check them out. Nate said, "The desert is fine for me, didn't bug me at all. The little shrines were cool to have." Yeah, in fact, I think I would have liked them if they had added more to the more of those little shrines and puzzle, elements. I think that would have been great. I think it also would have been cool if those shrines had somewhat connected to each other, to where you could kinda move between them potentially. I think that would have been good. M says, "I'm excited to get back into some Animal Crossing with the new update. Haven't picked it up in a while, and it's nice to have an update for a game without needing, Switch 2." Yes, absolutely. Um, Joey Pitt says, "The desert has never been interesting in anything, so I'm shocked. Haha, nope." There we go. I love it. I love it. Well, this next article here, it says Splatoon 3 has been rated for the Switch 2. And, so looking at the article, it says earlier this week, a Nintendo Switch 2 rating for Pikmin 3 Deluxe was spotted on the European Age Rating Board, PEGI. Now in, another development, a Switch 2 version of Splatoon 3 has been spotted on the same website. The difference here is Splatoon 3 already received a Switch 2 update in June, enhancing the game's resolution and frame rate. As you can see below, the Switch 2 version was added on the 31st of December 2025, and it joins the existing Switch version filed by Nintendo of Europe SE. And so the only thing I can assume here is that we're going to start seeing more, full on Switch 2 versions in retail. I I guess, which, would be similar to like Metroid Prime 4, where it's like you see it just says the Switch 2 edition and just puts it in, you know, puts it another game in the on the shelf for the Switch 2. So that's the only thing I can think is happening here. I am, speaking of Splatoon, when do we get more information on Splatoon Raiders? I am I'm definitely ready for that. Cryptic says maybe it's a complete edition with all the expansions and DLC. Very possible, very possible. So that may be what's happening as well. And I mean, they've got to be somewhat future proofing Switch 2 titles, as, the retail space for Switch 1 will start to dwindle, and they wanna make sure that people have access to some of these games that have Switch 2 editions that, are just wandering into to retail to pick up stuff like this. So, very curious that Pikmin 3 Deluxe was one, as well as Splatoon 3, but not Pikmin 4 as far as I'm aware. So, just some interesting choices and developments here, and I'm just curious on how things are gonna end up, playing out here, and what ultimately what the play is. Last bit of news here, Konami Switch game in the works. ESRB rating for Enchanted Wonderland cited, and it's gonna be coming to Switch. So, it says, or at least, that's what it's looking like. Enchanted Wonderland is rated E for everyone with mild fantasy violence, also user interact. This is an adventure game in which players explore a magical world to gather gather joy and resurrect a theme park. Players interact with characters, learn magic, and engage in different theme park attractions. Many Let's see, theme park attractions slash mini games. Among the several mini games, one space theme attraction involves shooting lasers at UFOs. Flashing and small explosions may occur when spaceships are hit. So there you go. This is coming from Konami in the very near future, and this is from a rating on the ESRB. Well, let's jump to our main topic, which this has been something that's been on my mind since I've been listening to some Nintendo history books, as well as Reggie's book as well. So let's discuss if the Wii could be making an appearance on Switch 2 in 2026. Here we go. All right. Well, for today's main topic, we're going to be talking about if the Wii could be making its way to Switch 2 in 2026. The Wii is celebrating its 20-year anniversary this year, and it was also one of Nintendo's biggest consoles ever. And it reached audiences that were not your typical gamers. And so I think they attempted to reach that audience again with Nintendo Switch Sports, which, like we saw earlier in the news section, it it is still selling. It is still selling. But my gut feeling is that if Nintendo fully leaned into the Wii Virtual or Nintendo Classics, like it has done with GameCube and N64 and other past Nintendo titles, the they could really make a dent in their uh in the sales potentially. That's and bringing in maybe some of that audience that was there 20 years ago. Now, going into this with Wii remotes, nunchucks, getting them, getting those back into everybody's hands and being able to play, I think Wii Sports alone would potentially be a system seller for Switch 2 if marketed correctly. This may not appeal to, you know, the majority of the hardcore Nintendo fans, but we're already gonna be playing the Switch 2, right? The Switch 2 will already be in our hand. Would I pick up a Wii remote? Absolutely. So, uh-oh, it looks like the video and everything is is dying on me. I'm not sure what's going on here. So, maybe we'll wrap it up here and we can discuss this tomorrow, guys. I do apologize. I don't know what is going on the technical side of things. So, I will but I will we will keep this topic going. I may just put it out on YouTube as a separate video so you guys can check it out there. So, thanks so much for being here, guys, and remember, play it loud.